Hello everyone, I'm your tutor AB and today we're going to be learning how to use the quadratic formula. In this video, we're going to look at some questions that involve rearranging equations, combining like terms, identifying the A, B and C, and then making the substitutions into the quadratic formula to find the solutions to the function. Let's take a look at this first question. How can we get the solutions to this quadratic by using the quadratic formula? Well, what is the quadratic formula? The quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Before we can use this formula and make the necessary substitutions, we need to first rearrange our equation so that we have all the variables and numbers on the same side so that it can look like the standard quadratic form ax squared plus bx plus c. So let's bring over the whole right hand side to the left hand side. So how is this going to look? It's going to just be simply x squared minus 3x plus 16 and minus 5x because 5x goes to the other side of the equals to sign, and minus 15 again because it's going to the other side of the equals to sign is equal to 0. Now let's combine terms. X squared stays as x squared, minus 3x minus 5x is negative 8x, and plus 16 minus 15 is just 1. So this is our quadratic formula that we need to solve using. This is our quadratic equation that we need to solve using the quadratic formula. Sorry for my mistake. So let's recall. With our equation, we know that this 8 is our b. Actually, this negative 8 is our b term. There is an imaginary 1 which is our a term. This is a, this is b, and well, this 1 is our c. So using this, let's make the substitutions into the quadratic formula and see what we get as the final answer. So x is equal to negative of negative 8, which is a positive, plus or minus the root of b squared, which is negative 8 whole square, minus 4 into 1 into 1 all over, we have 2 times 1. So what does that give us? Let's go up and write it again. We get 8 because it's plus and minus of minus, plus or minus the root of 60 by 2. So we know that this is our two values for x, or x-intercepts, but we can simplify this further. So we can simply write this as 8 plus or minus, we know that 60 can be written as root of 15 into the root of 4 all over 2. So again, simplifying further, we can write it as 8 plus or minus root 2 root 15 all over 2. And again, we can just simplify it finally to say 4 plus or minus the root of 15. And that is our final answer using the quadratic formula. This is our two values for our x-intercepts, otherwise known as the solutions. Let's now take a look at the second question. This is our quadratic equation. We want to rearrange this to look like the standard form ax squared plus bx plus c. is equal to 0. We need to make it look like this before we can apply our quadratic formula. So let's rearrange. Let's bring the whole right hand side to the left hand side. Let's shift everything to one side. So x squared plus 4x plus 2 minus 2x becomes plus 2x because it's now on the other side of the equal to sign, and plus 7 becomes minus 7 again because it's on the other side of the equals to sign. It's equal to 0. Now let's rearrange, let's combine like terms. So x squared stays the same, 4x and 2x, these can combine to become plus 6x, and 2 and 7, negative 7, combine to become negative 5. So that's equal to 0. Now, let's solve this quadratic using the quadratic formula. I want you to pause this video and recall what was the quadratic formula. What did we use on the last question? I'll give you a second. Okay, the quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now this is a very important formula and I need you to memorize it because it's going to be very helpful on your tests, on your exams, whatever it may be. This is always a lifesaver. So now let's make our substitutions. Let's identify what variables corresponds to what number. We have x squared plus 6x minus 5 is equal to 0. Negative 5 is our c. Plus 6 is going to be our b. And 1 is our a. As there's no coefficient, we always assume it's 1. So let's make the substitutions into the quadratic formula directly. X is equal to negative 6 plus or minus the root of 6 squared minus 4 into 1 into c, which is negative 5, all over 2 times 1, 2 times a. So let's simplify. Negative 6 plus or minus the root of 36. 1 into negative 5 is negative 5. 4 into negative 5 is negative 20. And negative of negative 20 is positive 20. So plus 20. All over 2. Again, we'll simplify further. X is equal to negative 6 plus or minus the root of 56 all over 2. Now, let's see if we can get this in the simplest radical form. What can root of 56 be written as? Well, root of 2, let's see what it can be written as. Let me do it in a better way. 56 divided by 2 gives us 28. 28 divided by 2 gives us 14. 14 divided by 2 gives us 7, and 7 divided by 7 gives us 1. We're just seeing what are the common factors. So we can group these two together, and we group these two together. So 56 in the simplest radical form is just x is equal to negative 6 plus or minus 2 root of 14 all over 2. And again, we simplify to the final form. X is equal to negative 3 plus or minus the root of 14. And that's our answer. Let's now take a look at this final question. This is a tougher question because it involves more variables, more numbers. So let's try to be careful when rearranging. So, same steps as before. we need to get this equation to look like the standard quadratic form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. To do this, we need to rearrange this whole equation. We need to bring all the numbers and variables to one side. So let's shift the right hand side to the left hand side to get it equal to 0. X squared minus 31 minus 2x is equal to, I forgot to rearrange. We need to bring all these numbers, so minus 6 becomes plus 6, minus 3x squared becomes plus 3x squared, minus 2x becomes plus 2x, and that is equal to 0. Now let's combine the like terms. We get x squared and x squared combined to become 4x squared. We get negative 2x and positive 2x cancelling out to give us 0. Then we get negative 31 and plus 6. This gives us negative 25. Have I combined all the terms? Let's double check. X squared and x squared. Negative 2x and 2x get cancelled. So we're left with negative 31 and plus 6. So when they add together, we get negative 25. And that is equal to 0. Okay, so now let's apply the quadratic formula to solve this question. How does this look like? Does this look like our standard form? Well, no, it's missing the bx portion, isn't it? Well, that's not a big deal. We can just simply write this as 4x squared minus 0x minus 25. 0 multiplied into anything is 0, isn't it? And so this is the same as this, is it not? So let's just keep it like this. That makes it easier to work with and do our substitutions. So 4 is our A, 0 is our B, and negative 25 is our C. So let's substitute this into our quadratic formula. Hopefully by now you memorized it. The quadratic formula is simply just x is equal to plus or minus the root of, x is equal to negative b plus or minus the root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. It's so long that even sometimes I make mistakes. So let's make our substitutions directly into this formula, shall we? X is equal to negative 0, 0 doesn't matter, 0 plus or minus the root of 0 squared minus 4 into 4 into negative 25. And at the bottom we have all over 2 times 4. So let's continue. X is equal to 0 doesn't matter, so we can just say plus or minus the root of negative 4 into 4 is negative 16, and negative 25 into negative 16 can just be written as 25 into 16. So let's do some quick multiplication. 5 into 6 is 0, 30. Then we can do 2 into 6, that's 12, that's 15. And we can do 5, and we can do 2. So if we make this addition, 0, 0, 1, 4. 400 is our answer. And if we can just double check on the calculator, we will see the answer should also be 425. 25 into 16, 400. So that's our answer. So root of 400 all over 8. Now let's write this in the simplest radical form. Let's draw a table like we did before. So the table would simply just look like this. 400, what are all the common factors? 2 gives us 200. 200 divided by 2 gives us 100. 100 divided by 2 gives us 50. 50 divided by 2 gives us 25. 25 divided by 5 gives us 5. 5 divided by 5 gives us 1. So we can do 2 multiplied into 2 multiplied into 5. 2 times 2 times 5. The square root of 400, as we know, is 20. So x is equal to plus or minus 20 divided by 8. X is equal to 20 divided by 8. X is equal to negative 20 divided by 8. And these are our two answers for this question.